we're all gathered here this evening in the midst of what we have all repeatedly identified as one of the most unprecedented times in the time that we're all living. COVID-19 has brought so many different aspects of our lives to a grinding halt, to a standstill, and has made us question several of our choices and has given us a lot of time to really introspect and huddle and rethink. At this moment, Kriya University and lead of Kriya University, who have been working together with the support of Ford Foundation on a gender-based violence project. We were all sitting far apart and we began wondering what happens to our project, what happens and what do we do really? And this project is still at the nascent stage from our end. But one thing that emerged out of all our discussions and the everyday news articles and data that were emerging and meeting our view was that COVID-19 or not, gender-based violence and violence against women and children is a far bigger reality that this world and this country in particular is facing. This pandemic, if anything, has heightened that fear and that danger for all our women and children. So we thought we must redirect ourselves a little bit in trying to understand where we place ourselves in this conversation. And where better to begin than to have with us and invite on board an eminent person who describes Indian women as a super generalization. In her own words, she says that there is no stable homogeneous category called the Indian woman. And we couldn't agree more, because when we talk about gender-based violence, and especially gender-based violence in public spaces or in various spaces, one is constantly compelled to redefine what those spaces are, for whom those spaces are to be redefined, and in what manner, and who are these women, and how do we really understand them and their needs. So we are very happy to invite on board and to invite amidst us Kamla Bhasin ji. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us this evening for the Kriya University Lead at Kriya webinar, the first in our series, and we couldn't have asked for a more befitting person to really open this dialogue for us. Thank you, Kamla ji. Before we give the floor to you, you would be very appreciative to know that we have on board a spirited team of folk artists who've joined us from Tamil Nadu, from Madras, but they actually are in Madras, but right now they are stuck in Perambalur, which is also part of Madras. They are revolutionaries in their own way because they have taken a very ancient folk Tamil art like the Parai, which was stigmatized for many, many years because of its caste affiliation, and have brought on board young people, particularly women, to learn and play the Parai, not in its stigmatized scenarios, but in public spaces, to really take social causes and messages to people, much like your own tremendous journey with folk arts and poetry. We're very happy to have the Buddhar Kalai Kuru. They are right now very active on YouTube. They have a channel of their own and they are promoting a lot of social messages, particularly about the COVID dangers through their Parai and folk arts. Mr. Manimaran, who is the chief of this Buddha Kalai Kuru, who is right now saying hello to all of us. I welcome him and his small team. He has a much larger team, but he's here with us with a small contingent, joined by his very talented wife, Magirini, who is one of the first female Parai artists. And she's going to not just perform Parai for us today, but also she's planning to sing a song for us on none other than Savitribai Phule. And they are calling their entire performance as in fact, their banner behind says valor, celebrating the spirit and valor of Savitribai Phule. So I think that's a befitting beginning for all of us. Thank you so much, Manimaran ji and Magirini ji and all your troupe. I think we begin there with the auspicious sounds of the parai and their dance, and then we move on to the webinar itself. Over to you, Manimaranji.
சத்தம் கேட்டு மக்களும் கூடிட்டாங்க. பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கிறவங்க
listening to the parai, even here people have gathered. Thanks to you people.
இப்ப நாங்க ஆக்சுவலா எங்க ஊரு வேடந்தாங்கல். நாங்க இப்ப தற்சமயம் சென்னையில வாடகை வீட்டுல குடியிருக்கிறோம்.
My village town is Vedantangal, and for time being we are in Chennai in a rented house.
சென்னை வீடு சின்னதா போலாம் தான் திட்டமிட்டோம். ஆனா கஜா புயல்ல ஊர்ல இருக்கிற யோசிக்கும் பொழுதுதான் இங்க பெரம்பலூர் மாவட்டத்துக்கு நாங்க வர நேரிட்டது.
While we were thinking what to do, we wanted to go back to Vedantangal after this COVID lockdown. But then during Gaja, our village hut had been destroyed. So we were thinking what to do, and then we came here to a friend's place in Peramballur district to stay.
நாங்க இருக்கிற இடம் வந்து அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு தன்னார்வ தொண்டு நிறுவனம்.
So where we are staying, this place is called Pyre. It's a community development organization.
அதனுடைய பிரீத்தி ஒருவங்க இவங்க
this of Pyre is my Senthil.
கணவர் செந்தில் இவரும் இணைந்து தான் இந்த அமைப்பை நடத்துறாங்க.
So my partner is Senthil, and together we run Pyre organization.
பயிரினுடைய தான் இவரு தம்பி அரவிந்த்.
Aravind and Arjun are kids from Pyre. They stay here and they are getting their education here at Pyre.
நாங்க இங்க இருக்கிறதுல இது மாதிரியான நிகழ்ச்சிகள் இங்க உள்ளூர் மக்களுக்கு முன்னோல் வழியாக விஷயங்கள் வாட்ஸ்அப் வழியா சில செய்திகள் பகிர்வதற்கு இருக்கு.
Staying here helps us in two different ways. One is to keep ourselves safe, and the same way we are getting a huge opportunity to use our arts to reach out to people in the village and through Facebook.
அம்மாக்கள் டீச்சராவே இந்த நேரத்துல மாறிடணும் போன்ற செய்தி எல்லாம் நாங்க சொல்லிக்கிட்டு
during this lockdown we are spreading the news such as like treating women. They shouldn't be treated as bonded laborers, but treated with dignity and respect.
இப்ப நாங்க பின்னாடி எழுதி இருக்கிறோம் valor, spirit of Savitri Phule. அவங்கள நினைக்கிறது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பொருத்தமானது.
You would have seen that we have written at the background that celebrating the valor and spirit of Savitribai Phule. During this COVID period, it's very important to remember people like Savitribai Phule.
1897ல பிளேக் நோயால மக்கள் கடுமையான அவதிக்குள்ளாக.
During 1897, people were affected hugely by plague epidemic.
அந்த நோய் தொற்று ஏற்பட்டு
Savitribai Phule came forward to help people who were affected in plague during the epidemic, and then she herself got infected and she had to lose her life helping others.
இன்னைக்கு உலகமே அடங்கி போனாலும் ஆதிக்கம் ஆணாதிக்கம்.
During this lockdown, even in the whole world, so many things have been so many things have come down, but certainly the violence against women.
குடும்ப வன்முறையை பத்தி பேசுற இந்த நேரம் சாவித்ரிபாய் பூலே, ஜோதிராவ் பூலே இவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் ஒரு குடும்பத்தினுடைய தலைமை எப்படி இருக்கு முன்னுதாரணமா.
While we talk about domestic violence, Savitribai Phule and Jyotirao Phule, they are very important couple to think about, to know how, with respect we should carry this family relationship.
போலீஸ் மாதிரி நிறைய பெண் ஆளுமைகள் இந்தியா முழுக்க ஆதிக்கத்துக்கு எதிரா சமத்துவத்துக்கு ஆதரவா உயிரை பணயம் வைத்து உழைச்சிருக்கிறாங்க.
Like them, so many others have worked really hard and they've given a lot of importance in establishing equality worldwide.
அப்படியான பெண் ஆளுமைகளை பற்றி நிறைவு பாடல்.
So many leaders have been contributing for this cause, and one such song Magilini is going to sing about women leaders.
இங்க நல்ல விஷயம்தான், இயற்கை நமக்கு உதவுறாங்க. மழை நீங்க கிட்ட வந்துருங்க, மழை தொடங்கி இருக்கு, அதனால கொஞ்சம் ஓரமா நின்று அந்த பாடலை பாடிக்கிறோம்.
It's a very good nature is helping us. Started raining here, so we are moving a little bit back, and then we are going to start the song. அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தடவா பொண்ணுங்க, அந்த பொய்மை சாதன பட்டியல தரவா பாத்திரம் பேசுற ஆதிக்க மனித பொண்ணுங்க பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன கோரவா, அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தடவா பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன கோரவா, அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தடவா. உடலை வெடிகுண்டாக்கி வெள்ளையரை எதிர்த்தா உறுதியின் உருவமா மீது வெள்ளை மனதோடு சாவித்திரி பாய் போலே மூட்டிய தீயில் முகத்தில் காயத்துடன் ஆதிக்க முடியது. முதல் பெண் மருத்துவரா முத்துலட்சுமியம்மா முன்னெடுத்த தேவதாசி முறை ஒழிந்தது. சாதன பட்டியல் நீளது பெண்ணை சரித்திரமே வாழ்த்தது. சாதன பட்டியல் நீளது பெண்ணை சரித்திரமே வாழ்த்தது. பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன அட்டட்ட பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன இத்தகு பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன கோரவா, அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தேடவா பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன கோரவா, அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தேடவா. சாதன பட்டியல தரவா, சாதன பட்டியல தரவா பாத்திரம் பேசுற ஆதிக்க மனித பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன இத்தகு பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன அட்டட்ட பொண்ணுங்கள் என்ன கோரவா, அந்த எதிர கீழந்தேடவா பொண்ணு கோரவா, அந்த பொய்மைக்கு எதிர கீழந்தேடவா.
இந்த நேரத்துல இப்படியான ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சி தன்மைக்கு புத்தர் கலைக்குழு சார்பிலும் எங்களுக்கு இங்க விளங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிற பயிர் அமைப்பு சார்பிலும் நன்றியினை தெரிவிக்கிறோம்.
During this kind of difficult times, thanks for giving us this opportunity to be with you all, in this platform. Thanks from Buddhar Kalaikuru as well as from Fire Organization. Thank you.
ரொம்ப நன்றிங்க, உங்க எல்லாருக்கும் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நன்றி. கிரியா யூனிவர்சிட்டி சார்பிலையும் லீட் கிரியா யூனிவர்சிட்டி சார்பில் உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் எங்களுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றி. என்ன ஒரு அருமையான ஒரு ஃபுல்ஃபில்லிங்கா ஆரம்பிச்சோம். இந்த ரொம்ப நிறைவான ஒரு துவக்கமா இருந்தது எங்களுடைய இந்த ஒரு முயற்சிக்கு. மிக்க நன்றி. Thank you so much. This is our heartfelt gratitude, not just to Mr. Manimaran and his wife and partner Magilini and their entire team who have given us a wonderful, fulfilling beginning. All those of you who've been sharing your joy in having witnessed this beautiful art form, which I've shared a little bit of history about this for those of you who are interested in the comments box. Parai form is one of the most ancient forms which was deeply stigmatized because of along with the caste and the various kinds of oppression. And Mr. Manimaran is one of the pioneers who had brought it back and reinstated it on other platforms other than funeral processions where it was meant to be performed or relegated to be performed. We're very happy that he was joined by his wife. I think it was a brilliant beginning to us. Thank you very much. And on the note where he had sung that beautiful, Magarini had sung that beautiful folk song for us about the various women who have contributed to the long history of thinking about women, really. I mean, I think the society at several levels forgets to think about women as a very important entity. Either we deify them or we vilify them. But it took an entire tradition of women starting from Savitribai Phule, as he had beautifully sung in the song, to so many others in this long tradition of women who stood up for us, who spoke for us, and who have allowed us dignity in our lives. And what more befitting than to have one such woman amidst us this evening, a pioneer, one must say, a path breaker. I say path breaker because feminist theories were long there, but someone who took those theories, who broke it down and took it to the common man, who took it to who took it to every person out there, and who took it not as theories but broke it down into songs, into poetry, into storytelling, into narratives that young people and the common people could latch on to, and to engage their imagination and engage them in conversations that were very, very important, and to appeal to their conscience. A woman who is feisty, who is known for her non-mincing of words, somebody who is just a ground activist, something that she is very proud of and something that we are all very thankful for, who has influenced generations of activists and grassroots workers in their own paths. She walks her talk, and I think that's one of the greatest compliments I think one can have in their lifetime, because it's so difficult for many people to walk their talk. Here we have Kamla Bhasin ji. We're very, very happy. I'm giving no introduction to her talk because I think she will frame it for us. Our interest, as I have already placed it here, is to really understand where we are, what it is that we have to, at this point, stop and rethink and reevaluate. What are these social norms? What are we to do with it? How are we to process and really respond in what ways to gender-based violence, and particularly in the public space, but generally gender-based violence. And this pandemic has somehow given us that impetus to also think in that, in a much more deeper sense. We will take questions from all of you who are participating in this webinar. We would request you to keep your questions concise and type it out in the comments box. We will take as many questions as we can after Kamla ji finishes her lecture. Over to you, Kamla ji. Thank you very much, and welcome to Kriya University and LEAD at Kriya. As I was just saying, LEAD is a research organization, and Kriya University looks at educating the young to really face the 21st century with all its unprecedentedness. And this moment could not have been more unprecedented for us in that sense. Thank you very much for joining us. Over to you.
Nandari, Jai Savitribai Phule and Fatima Sheikh. Long live the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Long live the Indian Constitution. And loving greetings to everyone who is listening. Friends, first of all, just to let you know that I am not an academic. I am an activist who has spent about 40 years on organizing and conducting short courses for activists and bringing activists together, doing networking between them at the Asian level. So as you know, I've been asked to speak about mitigating rising gender-based violence amid COVID-19 and beyond. Let me begin with COVID-19. We humans are locked in, very unhappy, but I think Mother Nature is very happy with COVID-19. I think The rivers and the air and the ponds are much cleaner already. The air, even in Delhi, is much cleaner. The animals are claiming their spaces which had been denied to them by us humans. So I think minus us, all other beings are quite happy with us locked in, because we have locked them in now for centuries. Now, friends, like all dangers, COVID-19 is also bringing out whatever is inside each one of us. If we have love inside, if we have compassion inside, then in situations of danger, it comes out. Today, you can see thousands of people at the risk of their own lives, taking care of others, providing healthcare, providing food, providing love, providing hope. All over the world, thousands. But then those who have hatred in their hearts, that is coming out. It's coming out in a big way. They're calling people names, they're abusing others, they're holding other people responsible. And recently, the UN Secretary General said yesterday that there is a pandemic of violation of human rights today. So this is what is happening. Friends, COVID-19 is like a mirror. Actually, I think no, it's like a magnifying glass. I think COVID-19 is magnifying all the fault lines, all the weaknesses in our societies. It is showing the great inequalities which persist all over. I mean, India, after 70 years, today you can see the inequalities. It's showing how the system is working for people like me, the privileged. Our children were brought in flights from all over the world. We were brought from all over the world. But the workers, the daily wage workers, the migrant workers were said, no, you can't move. And we give you no notice. Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days, zero. You live here, you are animals, you are not human beings. So one can see that. I belong to the privileged class, and I think most of you listening to me belong to that class. We are okay. We are sitting in our comfortable homes with our technology, connected with the world, continuing our intellectual exercises. What about those in tiny rooms, 6, 8, 10, without food, without their own toilets, without water, without jobs, without money, without hope? So, I mean, very, very sad. COVID-19 is telling us some truths also. Simple truths. There is only one earth, and it belongs to all of us. We are interconnected. In China, but it can be in Scandinavia within a week. It can be in America within a week. So we either survive together or we go down together. It's up to us. To me, COVID-19 has been saying equality is better for all. Inclusion, living in harmony is better for all. I feel COVID-19 has become such a huge issue because it was the privileged who got it first and who spread it all over the world. And we are talking so much about COVID-19 because a royal family guy can get it, a prime minister can get it, Hollywood and Bollywood stars can get it. Plus, it is affecting big business. That's why we are talking about it, not because it's the most dangerous thing. As a woman, I can tell you that 1 billion women face violence in so-called normal times. How many? 1 billion. 1 out of 3 women. In so-called normal times, in India, 3 lakh farmers commit suicide. COVID-19 has killed less than 10,000. 3 lakh farmers. Did we shout so much about it? No. Around 9 million people in India die of malnutrition every year. How many? 9 million. In India, where women are worshipped, 63 million women are missing. They have either not been allowed to be born or they are killed after they are born. 63 million. The population of Bhutan is 500,000. The population of Maldives is 500,000. And we have done away with 63 million women in normal times, not COVID-19. So friends, COVID-19 is helping me see very clearly that there are some other deadly viruses like patriarchy, like caste, like class, race, heteronormativity, viruses homegrown, viruses developed over centuries. The virus of privatization, getting into medicine and education, making it unaffordable for the poor. And you in Kriya University should know this. Who can afford health today? Who can afford education today? And they becoming carriers of inequality. And we can also see, friends, that countries which tried to reduce inequalities are dealing with COVID-19 much better. The Scandinavian countries. You can also see that leaders who have love and compassion in their hearts are doing much better. And yes, I'm talking of the 6 women heads of states about whom so many articles are coming out. So actually, COVID-19 is really an amazing mirror to us human beings. I feel we need effective soaps and sanitizers of human rights, equality, compassion, and love to kill the viruses of patriarchy, caste, and in Tamil Nadu, you people should know caste very well, class, race. And I think we need to identify and quarantine people who are infected by these viruses. And we really need to block them in, lock them in, and save humanity. And I think COVID-19 is giving us that opportunity. And now to the other part of this talk, gender-based violence. I call it by a more straightforward name, patriarchal violence. That gender bender, it hides everything. Gender-based violence. You know, it's a university term. Patriarchy is a struggle term. Patriarchy is a movement term which names the real thing. Because gender-based violence can be done by women. And we know how much of it is done by women and how much is done by men. Right? Patriarchal violence not only on women, on gentlemen, gentle boys, transgenders, homosexuals, there is an increase in violence against all these groups. And these facts are coming out. Reports are coming out from many, many countries about this. The National Commission of Women has spoken. UN Secretary General has spoken. UN Women has spoken. And friends, some decent people, they cannot believe that when human beings are facing death from a virus, they would be violent towards their own women, their own partners. And really decent people shouldn't be able to believe. Ye ho kya raha hai? How can it happen? And friends, these days, homes where this violence is taking place, they're not just providing food and a bed and sex to people. Homes today are schools, colleges, universities. Homes today are functioning as offices. Homes today are production centers. Who is running them? Women. Plus, hospitals, the nurses. Maybe there's one doctor and 10 to 15 nurses after, to a doctor. So women are on the front line of saving humanity. And what are we doing to them? What are we giving to them in return? Violence. I mean, it is unimaginable. I mean, even during COVID-19, women are producing babies. They're conceiving babies. And return for all this is violence, insult, fear. To people like me, we expected this to happen. And it was obvious. Because we have history, we have data from the past that the virus of masculinity, the virus of patriarchy thrives during emergencies like this. It happens during wars, it happens during religious conflicts, all the time. Full men become more violent. Desperate men become more oppressive, controlling, horrible. During lockdowns, these poor, violent men don't know what to do with their pent-up frustrations. The pubs are closed. The red light areas are closed. There's no cinema. There are no restaurants. There's no football. I mean, in Europe, no football. Poor guy, what does he do with his machismo? No cricket in India and South Asia. No World Wrestling Federation. No kabaddi. All that took away their violence. No release. Plus, these poor people are unemployed. They are no more breadwinners. Plus, they see no future. They see no hope. So what do? They beat up their wives, their live-in partners, their children. Now you can ask me, why do men do this? Why don't women do this? Because we are facing much worse than men. Why don't we do it? And I'm not saying no woman does it. I would say maximum of 5%. 95% gender-based violence is men's violence against women. in their violence, their mothers and all that can be supported. Okay? Why do men do it? Because this is what they have been taught since the day they were born. This is what patriarchy taught them. They are told that they are superior to their sisters, to all women. They are told they will inherit the family property, the family name. So even 250 years after democracy in America, you hear names like Kennedy Sr., Kennedy Jr., Bush Sr., Bush Jr. Not a single daughter has ever been called Bush Jr. or Kennedy Jr. We have no names, we have no homes, we have no businesses. These boys are told they'll be sent to better schools, they'll be given better health facilities, they will be given better food. And they're told they don't have to do household work. They don't have to serve others. They're lord and masters. When they get married in India, they get Kanya Dan. A girl, a woman is given to them in dana, a donation by another man. And what do? Lest the woman go astray, they put tali in their neck. They put sindoor. This is my woman, my property, not for sale anymore. And that woman would be an MBA, would be a PhD, changes her name the next day. She becomes the wife of Mr. So-and-so. In Hindi, he is called Pati Parameshwara. In Bangla, he is called Swami, Lord and Master, both words. In English, he is called husband, which means, by the way, I'm sure you know that the word husband is the same as the word in animal husbandry. Controller, manager. One word in our languages which, not one word, it's not even part of the definition of marriage. So why are we surprised when he hits us? Lords and masters do hit, for goodness sake. This is what he has been taught by his religion. In all religions, God is referred to as he. If God is he, then he is God. If God is he, then he is God. So why will he not beat his wife, for goodness sake? I mean, whom else will he beat? So I can go on and on and on. But I think you've got the point. Patriarchy is not an exception, and this is a global system. That is why the president of a country can speak about women the way he does, Mr. Trump. That is why our ministers can say whatever they like about women. Earlier, only religions and culture spread this nonsense. Today, modern capitalist patriarchy is spreading masculinity and femininity. They today are creating these gender stereotypes. Our Hollywood and Bollywood films, billion-dollar industries, creating these images of macho men. Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Don 1, Don 2, Don 3, Dabang, Badtameez. What are they doing? Macho figures. On the other side, those women undressing at any occasion and every occasion. Pornography in capitalist patriarchy, a billion-dollar industry available in your phone, in your pocket. Toy industry, guns for the boys, Barbie dolls for the girls. And then the big billion-dollar industry of trafficking of women, providing women of all kinds, all cultures, all colors, all sizes to men all over the world. So friends, this is what it is. So it's very difficult for boys and men. They have to be exceptional to escape patriarchy. And of course, boys and men are not born violent. They are born human beings. But this horrible training starts the moment they get out. Why does patriarchy continue for 3,000 years? Because it is very useful for society. Today, it is very useful for industry. Women provide free care. They produce children free of cost for the industry. In 1995, UNDP did a report on gender, and they calculated and said that if we were to give minimum wages for women's unpaid care work at home, what value will we give at minimum wages? The figure was $11 trillion annually. Today, after 25 years, you could perhaps double that figure with the $1 trillion. And what do you say? Oh, no, madam. My wife, ma'am, she's just a housewife. She doesn't work. Brother, $11 trillion is what these so-called housewives contribute to you. So, and for contributing $11 trillion, 1 billion of us are violated. Your topic says mitigating gender-based violence. I wasn't sure what the word mitigating meant actually, so I Googled. And it says reducing the extent, making it more tolerable. So I am not happy with mitigating gender-based violence. I will only be happy as a feminist with eliminating, not mitigating. Enough of that kind of thing. And eliminating it from within our hearts, from within our minds, from within our cultures. Cultures should not be spreading violence. Religions should not be spreading violence. They should be spreading love. But because violence is part of patriarchy, it is not an accident in patriarchy. Patriarchy will not continue if there was no violence. Like caste system will not continue without caste violence. So patriarchy violence is systemic. It is structural. So we cannot eliminate violence without eliminating patriarchy. And because patriarchy and caste and class and race are interlinked, our efforts have to be intersectional. We can't just fight patriarchy alone. It is kept going by caste and class and race. So I'm afraid there are no shortcuts, and we have been trying to do this for over 300 years, and we will continue to do this. Unfortunately, if we fight it, the whole of capitalist patriarchy is there to spread it. The entire industries are there to spread it. And friends, I really feel that we people don't have to do big things anymore. Big things have been done by the UN. We have the Universal Declaration. Big things have been done by the Indian Constitution. They have said all human beings are born free and equal with dignity and rights. So it is our legal right. Who is not giving us these rights? we the people are not accepting that all human beings are equal, that Dalits are equal, that women are equal, that transgenders are equal. So I believe it is we, the people. And now, friends, almost my last point, we women have been fighting patriarchy for a long time. The time has come for men and boys to understand how patriarchy is hurting them. Yes, it is giving them privileges. Yes, it is giving them properties and positions and everything. But my God, what is it taking away from them? It is taking away their humanity, their beauty, their love, ability to nurture human beings. If you lose your humanity, then what's the point of you having all these positions? Men have to realize that unless women are free, they cannot be free because they are connected to women. Woman, his mother, woman, his sister, woman, his wife, woman, his friend, woman, his daughter. If they are not free, he will spend all protecting them, beating them. So without women's freedom, men cannot be free. Men need to understand that gender equality is not a zero-sum game. If women become equal, men will not lose. Gender equality is a win-win game. If I become strong, I can tell my brother, hey bro, you want to do music? You go do music. I'll look after the business. I'll become a lawyer for my father. Bro, you want to dance? You want to be transgender, bro? Go. I'm there, no? Similarly, a partner telling her husband, don't worry if you fall sick. I'm there, man. You don't have to do it all for us. That is my feminism, where we take rights after we do our duties. That's what my dream is. How do men and boys become gentle and caring? I think the only way is for them to start doing household work, for them to serve other people, for them to put the need of another person before their need. Somebody is hungry for somebody's thirst, like women do, staying up whole night because a child is not able to sleep. We women are not born better than men. No way. And we see how horrible women can be to other women. I mean, we all know that. But we do become a little more gentle because for thousands of years, we create a new person. And unfortunately, men don't have proper bodies to create children. I mean, all right, I feel bad for them. It's okay. But my God, nothing stops you from holding them, giving them a bottle. Your breasts are useless, you don't have them. Never mind. You can use a bottle, man. And just as I learned how to clean shit of my children, I didn't know before they were born. I was 33 when I first time cleaned somebody's bottom. When I could learn it at 33. My man also learned it at 33 or 35. I feel this is the only way men can realize their beauty, their humanity, their love. The other thing is boys and men have to share property with women. And then we can all walk ahead, COVID or no COVID. If we had done all this, there will be no more violence in COVID. It's there because we do it all the time. So friends, I believe the changes will have to begin within us. I don't look at the state and say, state do this, state do that, state do that. Because people who run the state also come from the same families. Mr. Trump has come from a family. The other macho leaders come from the families. The policeman whom you see beating people most of the time. I feel so sad in COVID-19. The police is beating the poor all the time. Where do they come from? When a woman goes to the policeman, how he treats her, where does he come from? So we begin with ourselves. It's a long-term solution. And of course, for short-term solutions, we can talk about it, but I will stop now. I have some tea while you get your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kamlaji. I think my introduction of calling you a feisty woman, I think that is an understatement. I just got a message from one of my colleagues calling you a rock star, and that's what you are.
Should I put a pagdi on here?
I think you should. Thank you very much for really giving us a head start on all of this. I mean, you have really brought this issue head on to each one of us. You have dismantled the onus from institutions, from dispensations, and brought it directly to each one of us. And I think that really rings true, because today the environment has changed. COVID has not just changed the lives of people, but as you rightly began, it has changed the environment, and it's perhaps changed it for good in many different ways. So, in your opinion, are we going to be re-inhabiting a different sort of environment, a different kind of world going forward? Is there a possibility? You did end by talking about some of the things that particularly men and boys can begin doing. For example, household chores. I mean, I think COVID-19 has made that a reality, at least in certain homes where people are now sharing some of their household responsibilities, etc. I don't know if that's bringing about a change in them, so to speak, in order to become more empathetic and caring towards others. But do we have an opportunity here that we should harness to really look at some sort of a change in norms in the society that we live in, the ones that we inhabit?
We definitely have an opportunity, but whether we will do it, my doubts. That 1% or say 3% to which we belong, the people who go to Priya University, we belong. I don't know whether we are capable of that entire rethinking. I believe other than gender, which is connected to the economy and to the politics, we really need to go back to nationalization of basic service. Most of the governments have spent time breaking these systems. In India, what have we done in the last 20 years of globalization, of liberalization? And when I went to school, there were only government schools. So the inequality was not increasing. But today, these universities costing $1 lakh a month, 50,000 a month, and increasing the inequality. When I was growing up 74 years ago, there were only government hospitals. We all went to the same, and because the minister went to the same, and the IAS fellow went to the same, they functioned. They delivered. Today, they don't have to deliver because we don't go there anymore. 20 years ago, we all had Indian Postal Service. In 1 rupee, my letter would reach Chennai, Madras then. In 1 day. Today, I pay 35 rupees for a courier. Everything privatized. So I feel profit motive cannot remain the driving force of our lives. Caring, nurturing, welfare, that has to be paramount. And do you really think people will be able to change? Do you really think our governments can do away with their controls? Who controls our governments? So, and if we don't do it now, we will never do it. And I think some countries in Europe will do it. And they have been doing it, like Scandinavia. Some countries in our neighborhood, like Bhutan, gross national happiness, not gross national product. So I think our hearts have to have more love and compassion. I feel profit-based capitalism should be out. But today all our universities are based on that. Everything is based on that. So I don't know. But I won't be there anyway, so you chaps deal with it. I'll be gone. I'll be gone. Yes.
No, we hope not. We need you.
I will be gone.
Kamla ji, I'll move between a couple of my questions and then some of the questions that are coming in. I'd like to read out a question from one of our students, from the first year's undergrad student. Her name is Mitra. And she says,
what's her name?
Mitra.
Mitra. Oh, friend.
Yes. So she says, hello, ma'am. As a woman, most, or to be honest, almost all the women in our society live in constant terror of being prone to abuse, both physical and mental. How do you think patriarchy has affected the mindsets of the younger generation? And how do you think society can change the younger minds for a better future?
Mitra, society will change when you and I change. You are absolutely right. Every woman lives either with violence or the fear of violence. I have never been raped, but have I ever been without the fear of rape? Have I ever taken a taxi in any city of the world without once thinking, will I reach my destination? And if I carry this fear with me all the time, can I ever achieve what I'm born to achieve? And I feel so bad that patriarchy makes me suspect every man on the road. Patriarchy makes me suspect every taxi driver. That poor guy didn't even think of raping me. But my God, if 2% men do it, how do I know this fellow is not from those 2%? So I totally agree with you, Mitra. And I think we need to just begin with ourselves, and we need to begin with our homes. We need to begin with our little brothers and the boys we go to school with, or the boys you go to university with. Talk to them about these issues. Stop being that typical girl. You know, there's an amazing book written by a woman called Deepa Narayan, where she has studied women, upper class women, and she finds that all of them are also so patriarchal. You know, getting an MBA or getting a fancy degree from Kriya University does not kill the virus of patriarchy. We have to take risks. We have to go out. We have to do it. We have to spread the sanitizers of equality and love. Begin with ourselves.
Thank you very much. Kamlaji, in your vast experience with the grassroots, particularly with women from the rural, and also, you work a tremendous lot with women from the cities. I mean, you've brought to us the realities of our own existence here in the past half an hour. What do you think is perhaps a distinguishing factor between the way violence is processed and responded to in the rural space and in the urban space?
Swarnamalya, I don't think it is rural or urban. It is your class. The Brahmin upper class woman in the rural will behave the same way as the Brahmin upper class in the urban. If you are a working class woman, your husband cannot lock you down. He can't earn enough for the whole family. So a working class woman is much more mobile. She is much less covered. She is much less in parda. Bloody well earns. And if she earns, she never feels as desperate and helpless as an upper class woman does. What would she do after a divorce? Nobody in her background, a woman, has ever stood on her legs. I am now a working woman, but I'm the first generation so-called working woman outside. My mother wasn't. My grandmother wasn't. So it's not yet, my sense of fearlessness is not rooted yet. But the working class woman who comes to your house to clean your utensils, her mother was a working woman. Her grandmother, her grandmother. So if her husband does nonsense, there is a possibility that she'll say, get off. And she'll come out and say, the bastard is hitting me. How many middle class women will come out calling their man by this word? They will hide it, they will powder it, they will put dark glasses, etc., etc. But patriarchy is spreading even into those classes now. Like dowry was never existing among the really poor. So instead of equality coming up, patriarchy is going there. Dowry is going there. And even there now, they are killing their daughters. So, I mean, for example, Adivasi women, tribal women, indigenous women, much stronger, much less gender inequality. Class inequality, yes. Much less gender inequality. Much more, just see the way they stand. Their body language and see our body language. How we stand and how they stand and how they climb a tree and deal with things. You can see it in their bodies. You can see it in their speech. So nothing to do with rural and urban, according to me.
Right. Thank you so much. Here's another question from one of our attendees. I'm just going to read it out. I don't have the attendee's name here, but I'll just read out the question. In the context of the lockdown, confined spaces are definitely perpetrating violence, physical. Social distancing is a privilege for people with space. How helpful are helplines in this situation, especially now since the number of calls have increased on these helplines? How does it affect men? What about those who cannot access these helplines? It is a scary scenario to know what they would be going through.
Okay, this question is helping me to talk about what can we do in the short run, which is during COVID-19. This is what she's asking. He or he, I don't know.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk more and more about violence during this time. Make it a national priority. Unfortunately, I have not heard our Prime Minister mention domestic violence as one of the issues, or any government authority mention this issue. I think they need to say it. Number two, they need to say that supporting the victims of domestic violence is part of essential services. Just as hospitals are part of essential services, this is part of essential services. I feel just as we have created these vast social media campaigns about wash your hands like this, 22 seconds, such media campaigns, and say shame on you if you do it. Number four, in England, they have started taking men out to jails. On an average, they are taking 100 men out in a tiny country like England. 100 a day. In other European countries, they are saying women and children will not be taken to shelters. Be men taken away from those homes. So these kinds of things can be done. And just as we have made very strict rules against violence against health workers and doctors, we can make the domestic violence rules more effective. Catch them the same day, put them in, and we'll deal with them after COVID-19. Quarantine these viruses, the patriarchal virus, quarantine them. So the other thing, I think neighbors can play a very important role. We can keep our eyes and ears and hearts open to see. I have read that in some countries, since women can't reach the police, they are going to chemists. And code words have been created so that the chemist knows she's talking about domestic violence. And in India, we have also seen that women can't even call. So the National Commission of Women says they're sending their reports by emails, some of them. But how many women have emails? How many women have access to all that? It's a difficult situation, but I think neighbors can do much more. The government can do much more by, I mean, if every day 10 times the television says no violence, the children will look at their father who's doing it. The message will get there and the fellow will know. And if he knows that one phone call and he will be taken out. So these are the 4 or 5 things which can be done. And I hope in the next Man Ki Baat, our Prime Minister talks Hamare Man Ki Baat bhi, and he says what's bugging us. And they need to talk about it. I mean, none of them I have heard has mentioned domestic violence. And if they don't mention it when 63 million women have died, I'm not surprised. 3 million women. I mean, Hitler killed 6 million Jews. We, who worship women, goddess Kali, goddess this, goddess that, 63 million. By whom? By well-off, educated families, much more. Who helped? Well-off doctors coming out of our universities. Well-off technicians coming out of our universities. So when people say education is a solution of all, I wish it was true. At times I feel educated people are the problem. Most corrupt, most polluting, most consuming, most waste producing. So
Kamla ji, I just want to also sort of, the other thing is, we're all using the digital space today to talk about various things. And right now we are connected because of the digital.
No, by the way, not all, maybe 5% of India.
Yes. Yeah, I meant all of us today who are connected on this forum.
Yeah.
And
Please.
the privileged class, as you have
Yeah,
rightly. Absolutely. But the truth also remains that now the digital space has enabled, along with the ability to communicate within a particular section of people, also the danger, the imminent danger of violence perpetrated in that space. There is also a lot of information now coming out talking about the various Zoom. Today, my sister was telling me about the Zoom bloopers, where young boys and men send naked pictures to their teachers and tutors on Zoom, etc., and have funny, sometimes very misogynistic names for their accounts, etc., etc. So it's very disturbing, this space. So in your recent experiences with the digital, have you identified how we can really possibly identify gender-based violence in the digital space and how we can sort of deal with it?
No, I mean, we've known it from the beginning that these things are double-edged swords. They can help, but they can also worsen. And we've known it forever. I mean, technology has no value. Technology has no morality. Like education, sadly, doesn't have value or morality anymore. It should have had, but it doesn't. So, and who controls it? The powerful control it. So the powerful will use it for themselves. And today, the digital world basically is being used to do away with our human rights, to do away with our privacy. All the threats which we are facing today because of this technology, and we are letting it go because, and they are happy to, I mean, COVID-19 has come as a godsend to them to take away all our rights, all the human rights which we have fought for. They are now taking anybody and everybody who was fighting for human rights and putting them in jail. Nothing can be done. So, you know, when I was growing up, we had this word called appropriate technology. There we said, any technology which the poor can appropriate is appropriate. Appropriate is who appropriates it.
Right.
Who controls it? That is it. Any technology can be appropriate if we control it. But by the time you are on 2G, the others are on 5G. What are they doing? They are becoming billionaires. And out of those billions, they give 1% and become the biggest philanthropists. I say, my God, don't exploit people so much, then we don't need your bloody money.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Here's a question from Maitri Modi, one of our students, again from the SIAS of Korea. Hello, ma'am. I was just wondering when you talk about quarantining the patriarchal violence in a way, aren't we dependent on them? Because of our dependency, can we actually quarantine them? Although it is sad to say this, I'm just thinking out loud. If you want, you can reframe this question. Oh, I think that's to me. I think her question is the patriarchal violence, as in the I'm sorry. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Patriarchal viruses that you spoke about. So her question is, aren't they sort of, have they not sort of become such an essential part of our existence that, you know, she's wondering if, I mean, what it is that we can really do. I mean, how dependent are we on I think what she means is culturally.
Maitri, I mean, why are women only dependent on men? I mean, men are dependent on women for every essential service. So I think we are mutually dependent. We are interdependent. And if we are interdependent, then why should any one of us do violence to the other? And I think we need to internalize people. I mean, who could say that 6 weeks ago, could we say that we could live in one flat for so many days? So we get rid of these things that we can't do it. We can't get rid of violence. I mean, you have the Constitution, we have the Constitution on our side, human rights on our side. But we upper class women, we don't want to leave our class privileges. We won't leave these men with their cars. And those are the kind of men we want to marry after fancy degrees. So I think we need to see whether we value dignity more than a big car, that we value self-respect and creativity. We have come to this world to do something great. We haven't come here to be chained with jewelry of all kinds and violence of all kinds and bandish kinds. This is not why we were brought to this world. And we are all interdependent. And that is how it should be defined. That's what I feel. And I really feel that no human being, no Dalit, no woman, no transgender should be facing any violence. And I feel no human being should have a heart like that, that he or she can do this violence. I mean, I honestly worry for people who live with hate in their hearts. I don't want to see their hearts, what they look like with violence. I mean, and where do they get time for violence? Where do they get time for hatred? I don't have enough time for love.
Thank you so much, Kamla ji. I think I'll make this the last question. And this is from Kishore Venkat. Yes, he says, Dear ma'am, I think the concept of sex and gender are seen as culturally constructed rather than biological. Using the discourses of caste, class, and gender norms, how do you think we can separate this understanding of cultural norms from biological in terms of gender?
Hello, Venkat. Dandare. I believe, sex is biological and gender is socio-economic and cultural, religious. I believe biology has made us different, has made Venkat and me different. But what is the difference between Venkat and Kamla? Only 2 or 3 things are different. The poor Venkat has no proper breasts which can deliver milk. Now Venkat doesn't have a uterus. Now it's sad, but he doesn't have it. So the difference between Venkat and Kamla is only that nature has given me more power and more responsibility. And I'm very happy with that. I'm willing to perform this because it's very creative. It is lovely. So as far as nature is concerned, she made us different only for reproduction. That is the only reason. And for reproduction, we have to cooperate, not beat each other. We have to cooperate, otherwise no reproduction, man. I know. Nature does not make anybody unequal, superior, inferior. Nature makes us different, not unequal. Society makes us unequal. Men are superior. Brahmins are superior. Fair people are superior. Tall men are superior. Not nature. Nature has never said that black people are inferior. Nature has never said that rose is more beautiful than any other flower. That elephant is superior to a mouse. No. Mouse is mouse. Elephant is elephant. All have their place. So all inequalities have been created by us, which means that if we want it, we can remove inequalities. We can be the not mitigators, destroyers.
Annihilate.
That's what I believe.
Absolutely.
Not I believe.
Thank
I know.
Thank you so much, Kamlaji. So many more questions pouring in from students and all our attendees. I just want to say that we are running out of time, and so we may not be able to take all your questions. For example, there is Ashish Bastia, who's asked, what can MBA students and students in general, how can they be part of this, you know, the solution that we can bring about towards annihilating violence? I don't know if we have the time to take that question. Would you like to give a quick answer to Ashish?
Yeah. I don't know where he goes, but he can come today and cook for his mother and his sister. He doesn't need an Aadhaar card. He doesn't need a passport or a ration card for doing this. We don't have to do big things. We don't need your MBA degrees to help us. We need your love. We need your care. We want your promise that you will never harass a woman, that you will never look at her badly, and you will not allow another man to do it. No MBA. A good heart, my man. Just a good heart, and do it. And don't wait for tomorrow. Send a nice message to your mother, to your sister. Apologize to them if you lived off them, if you made them do all your work at home. Do it today. Don't wait. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much. And he responds by saying, I started cooking. Thank you so much. I'm helping my mother with a smiley. Thank you, Kamlaji, for this very, you know, you have really, like I said, put the yoke back on our shoulders and, you know, given us this mirror to reflect on. Thank you so much. I think this is, in a large way, we will also start rethinking our own understanding of how, as an institution, we can think of gender-based violence. We have to start taking responsibility. We have to be part of the chain. Thank you very much for inspiring us and for being part of this evening. Can we end with 2 lines of your amazing poetry, because that's something we cannot miss, and then we'll call it an evening with that. Thank you so much.
Okay, before that, I just want to say happy Ramzan to everybody, to this country. So many of our friends are fasting, so we wish them and we learn from them. And today I got a message from some friends that on May 1, many of us will fast in solidarity with the daily wage earners, with the migrant workers. So I invite all of you to fast on May 1. You can drink water, but try and not eat the whole day. I'll finish with a positive poem. And of course, I don't write poetry in English. I write it in Hindi, Urdu. And I'm saying women are changing. So the Maitri and the Mitra who asked questions, it is dedicated to them. हवाओं से बन रही हैं लड़कियां, हवाओं से बन रही हैं लड़कियां, उन्हें बेखौफ चलने में मजा आता है, उन्हें मंजूर नहीं बेवजह रोका जाना, परिंदों से बन रही हैं लड़कियां, becoming like birds. परिंदों से बन रही हैं लड़कियां, उन्हें उड़ने में मजा आता है, उन्हें मंजूर नहीं उनके परों काटा जाना। नहीं है लड़कियां, उन्हें सर उठा जीने में मजा आता है, उन्हें मंजूर नहीं सर को झुकाकर जीना, और सूरज सी बन रही है लड़कियां, उन्हें चमकने में मजा आता है, उन्हें मंजूर नहीं हरदम फूलों से घिरा होना। I want every girl and every boy every transgender person to realize their potential for which they are born. And I just want to say that the fight for gender equality is not a fight between men and women. It is a fight between two ideologies. One says patriarchy, the other says no, thank you, equality. And there are men and women on both sides. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so very much on behalf of all of us this evening. People are pouring in their happiness and joy, and they're tuning in from other parts of the world and thanking us for bringing you on this forum. Thank you so much, Kamla ji, and Zindabad.
Zindabad.